The Player's Voice Award was recently given to Genshin Impact, the enormously well-liked gacha-based RPG created by the Chinese studio MioYo. Since its release in 2020, Genshin Impact has steadily expanded, adding dozens of new playable characters and expanding its world. The Raiden Shogun, an Electro-Archon who rules the island nation of Inazuma with tyranny, is one of these characters that is the most enigmatic. As they progress through the main plot of Genshin Impact, from the Shogun's introduction when they first arrive in Inazuma to her final conflict before the traveler departs for Sumeru, players learn more about her past. The Raiden Shogun's true nature has been extensively illuminated by this chapter of Genshin Impact's story. The Raiden Shogun is a person. She is actually two beings, which is the biggest revelation in the Raiden Shogun's story in Genshin Impact. The Shogun, a faceless, robotic-like puppet that rules the islands of Inazuma with an iron fist, is the face of the Raiden Shogun that players first come into contact with. Players won't encounter the real Electro-Archon and brains behind the puppet Shogun, until much later in the narrative. A warrior god from Inazuma's distant past, received the title of Electro-Archon from her sister Makoto. Makoto was killed in the Teyvat Cataclysm 500 years prior to the events of Genshin Impact, which led to assume the role of the Electro-Archon. Ai's divine ideal is the Archon is eternity, and she works to ensure that Inazuma never changes in order to realize that ideal. While Ai created the Shogun to strictly control Inazuma on her behalf, programming the puppet with a constrained range of responses and choices, Makoto chose to embrace eternity by savoring every moment. Ai withdrew to the plane of Euthymia to reflect on eternity after transferring control of Inazuma. When the traveler visits Euthymia in the narrative of Genshin Impact, it is a plane that Ai herself created, and it changes in appearance to reflect her mental state. The Genshin Impact story's Raiden Shogun. By the time the traveler gets to the remote archipelago, Inazuma is no longer coexisting peacefully under the Raiden Shogun's rule. As a result of the Shoguns being duped by the Fatui Harbingers into passing the Vision Hunt Decree, unrest has swept the islands. This decree, which forbids the use of all God-given visions that grant their users elemental powers, sparked a bloody civil war and massive social unrest. Players gradually gain more knowledge about the mysterious beginnings of the decree, the odd behaviors of the Shogun, and the existence of her creator Ai as they spend more time in the island nation. The traveler challenges Ai in the plane of Euthymia, demonstrating to her the harm done by the Vision Hunt Decree and defeating her in a duel using the powers of the taken visions. This is where the story comes to a head. Following this defeat, Ai admits her error and revokes the Vision Hunt Decree. She then moves quickly to arrest her traitorous commissioners and exact revenge on the cunning Fatui. Although the Raiden Shogun's involvement in Genshin Impact's main narrative comes to an end with this, players can still learn more about her through optional personal quests. They will learn from these quests that Ai is having issues with the Shogun, who after her defeat views her as an enemy of eternity. Ai is forced to repeatedly duel the Shogun on the plane of Euthymia in order to show the strength of her new belief because she is unable to easily change the puppet's programming. When the Shogun finally concedes, Ai makes a commitment to become more personally involved in Inazuma's administration going forward. She starts by repealing the Sakoku Decree and reopening her nation's borders to trade and travelers. Genshin Impact is accessible on mobile, PC, PS4, and PS5. A Switch version is currently being created. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and support my channel Lesser Than 3.